So I wanted to talk to you guys today about belief and the winner's mentality. And I think this is one of the most important things when it comes to winning in business, in competition, just in the world. And I don't think that a lot of people are talking about it. I don't think they're giving it the attention that it really deserves. And what I'm noticing, because I'm speaking to business owners every single week, and what I'm noticing is the people who have great businesses, they all seem to have this big common denominator. And that common denominator is that they believe that they're going to win. They believe in themselves. They believe in their ability to make things happen. They believe in their ability to create success. And the folks who don't have it, they'll never say like, hey, I'm a loser. But instead, what they'll say is things like, oh, I don't have a big name behind me. Or, oh, it's actually better off to have a really small school and a really small business. And I don't even want to get that big. Or they'll say things about all of the things that are holding them back. Like, oh, it's so hard to find good help and good staff. And oh my God, I can't find a really good person behind the front desk. And it's just like, for me, from an outside perspective, like you guys have probably noticed that it's harder to identify your patterns. Like it's hard for you to identify your own patterns of behavior. But if you're looking at somebody else, you can really, really clearly see like, oh, this is this person's problem. They don't even know it. And from my end, I talk to people about growing their business all the time. And I can see that the big problem is never what they think it is. Like they think the problem is, like their location or whatever, the competition in the area. And it's not that. The big problem is that they have a loser's mentality. And so I want to make this like clear as day, because a lot of people, who are in this space, you guys come from some sort of like a sports competitive environment. And so I'd ask you, if you were looking at a fighter, or, just somebody who's going into competition to like a tournament, and you have some person who is like literally just like timid and afraid or thinking that they're going to get hit or thinking that they're going to lose. Even if that person was highly skilled and did have like great athleticism, great technique, all this other stuff, like what would you give them on their odds going against somebody with slightly less technique, slightly less athleticism, but with a die-hard belief that, yes, we can make this happen? But I think it's pretty obvious, like you would literally choose the person who had belief over the person with the core abilities. Because in a sports environment, like belief makes that much of a difference. Now look, like with business, you run into all sorts of adversity all the time. You run into competitors, you're losing students, you lose staff, landlord issues. I mean, I talked to a business owner and his place just burnt down and the insurance company wasn't helping him out. Like there's all of this adversity. And the thing is like over time, getting adversity after adversity after adversity, like it can really change somebody who was optimistic and who did have this like inner belief in themselves. It can change them to be somebody who's going to be guarded. And when you're guarded, you're not thinking about moving up. You're thinking about protecting what you have. And that's what makes people play a really small game. That's what gets people to say most of the time, like, yeah, I'm okay having 75 members, like I don't want any more. Like it's okay that we've got, a 1,000 square foot facility. I'm not going to do any more of that. Because like the thing is like a lot of times some people are fine with that and that's cool if that's you. But a lot of times the same person who says that will say, yeah, but my goal is to have 5 schools by the time I retire. And it's like, well, dude, what is it? Are you going to play small? Or are you going to play big? And it really just boils down to like an inner belief in yourself. Like one of the things that I love about jiu-jitsu is that in jiu-jitsu, it's all about like hitting failure. Like you have failure and then you think about it and you say, okay, I'm going to make this change in what I'm doing and I'm going to see success later on. And if you really think about it, like the core of that is actually a belief that I can make adjustments and I can win. Like I believe in my ability to adapt and to overcome obstacles. And that's the entire thing about jiu-jitsu. And that's why like I think it's so freaking amazing. Because like the entire sport is built around this belief. And that belief really needs to carry over to the business sense. It's got to be like, hey, look, like we ran into this obstacle, but I can learn a technique and I can overcome it. And if you have that, you will be able to adjust. You will be able to, to have the school of your dreams. And I mean, like I say this like as if like there are people like, you realize there are people out there who have 7 schools that literally each school has hundreds of people who are and they're all running themselves quite comfortably. Like that does exist. So, I came across like I'm always looking at, business information and Rob, I think it's Rob Deerdeck. He's the guy, with like Rob and Big, that TV show, and Ridiculousness. Like this guy, he's on a path to become like a billionaire, and he talks about like with his kids, what he does is he literally like coaches them every day to say like, I believe in me, I believe in me. And it sounds like cheesy and it sounds like corny or whatever, but I mean, this is a guy who is extremely successful, and he identifies that, it's that inner belief. It's the winner versus the loser mentality that really makes a difference. So I really like urge you guys to look at, what's happening in your business, what are the obstacles that you're facing right now, and see if you can like focus in on like, what's the big obstacle, like the one thing, and then think to yourself, like, do I have a winner's or a loser's mentality about this? And if you had a winner's mentality, if you had absolute certainty that you could solve that one problem, what would you do? What actions would you take and how would you act around it? Because you might like examine this and find yourself like thinking to yourself like, wow, like I would approach this 1,000% differently if I knew that I could find a solution to it. You're not going to find a solution unless you're confident that you're going to win at it. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Stay tuned. More content like this coming. See you soon.